Hi everyone, welcome to UTV Guna and our AAA show with Amma, Abik and myself. Yes guys, how are you?
Yeah, good man. Picked up the 3 points today. I can't be more happy.
Yes,
All
Abik.
good, all good. Yeah, all good, all good. Can't complain. Happy as always.
Cool. So yeah, let's start with you, Amma, as your team just finished playing now. It's a comfortable 3-0 win for you today. Weekend was difficult though. Wolves had that late goal to equalize, finished 2-2.
Yeah, so let's start with the bad, then we'll go to the good. So against Wolverhampton, good start. Well, actually, no, the first half was it was very bland. There wasn't much to it. There wasn't much to the first half. It was, both they were defending deep. We couldn't break them down. We didn't do much. But then second half, we started getting on our game. Big Romelu Lukaku. Now he's starting to show a little bit of form after nearly the year finishing. I think since the Carabao Cup final, he's shown some really good form when he comes on from the substitution, from the bench, and he very good performance. Two goals, good penalty, and then really good finish. First time on his right foot, right in the corner. But then again, defensively, not solid. Very very bad defensively. We're not like we used to be last season where we won the Champions League. It's not the same. We did struggle, and yeah, Wolves. They got that last minute Connor Cody header. So yeah, that was disappointing. But I didn't. I actually thought I predicted we win 3-0, but yeah, no, defensively was very poor. And then today was a completely different performance. We were from the get go. We were really we were on our game today. Mason Mount, man of the match today, amazing performance. His goal, what a finish! Right, right in the corner. Lukaku played amazing today. Reece James played amazing. Defense was solid. The atmosphere was very, very crazy, as it always will be at Leeds. Obviously, Chelsea Leeds having that old school rivalry as well, mixed with them being in relegation. So yeah, I had all the elements to be a tough game, but we played really well. And Lukaku got another goal at the end after trying and trying the whole game. He played so well, He was even doing some skills sometimes. He was just rolling defenders. How he should be when he's on his game. So he scored a good goal at the end, good composure, because I thought he messed up the chance. And overall, a complete performance. Very happy. This is the performance we need to take to the final. If we'd won, if we drew 0-0 or won 1-0 and, played awful the whole game, it wouldn't be a good momentum. But now we have some good momentum to go to the final. And Atuchu has a few selections he has to think about for the final. With up top, who do we go with, Havertz or Lukaku? I'll go with Lukaku. And again, partnering him on the left and right wing. Who's he going to play? It's going to be a tough one for him. But yeah, just overall happy, nearly guaranteed top four now. So yeah, satisfactory in terms of league. And now let's go and win the FA Cup on Saturday. Also, let's not forget we have already won 2 titles. The Club World Cup and the Super Cup. So yeah, we'll win. We'll go for the 3rd title and do the treble. So let's do the treble on Saturday.
I'm sure.
Made up treble. I thought our treble was bad in 2001, called the ugly treble. I don't know what this is called. Fake treble.
I'll tell you something, that you're lucky we didn't win Carabao Cup, because I'd have been going on about the quadruple if we won on Saturday. Yeah, so yeah, overall very happy. Now let's go on to the final and let's show a good performance.
Okay, so yeah, we'll talk more about the final a little bit later. So, Abik, I was hoping you guys would get the job done against Tottenham. I was really expecting you to beat them. The form you guys have been in this season, I was thinking, okay, it should be a comfortable Liverpool victory. But maybe you're a little bit tired from that Champions League match. It was a difficult match against Villarreal. And you got to give it to Tottenham. They did play well. I thought they played perfect tactics, hitting you on the counter-attack. kept very solid at the back, and they deserve a draw. You could say they were unlucky not to win that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think firstly we've got to praise Tottenham for what they did coming to Anfield. Not many teams come to Anfield and get anything really, let alone a draw or goal even. So fair play to Conte. Look, he's proved that he is a world-class manager. He's actually got a really good record against Klopp as well. I think Klopp's only won maybe once or twice against him. So he is an expert in the way he set up that Tottenham side. I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't call it like negative or anti-football. They did obviously defend in large parts, but that would have been expected anyway, because any team coming to Anfield is expected to defend in large parts. But what Tottenham did really well was they also countered really well, and they took their chances. I mean, the goal that Son scores is actually a really good goal, because if you look at it, Kane, I think everyone thinks that Kane's going to shoot, but he just lays it off to, I think, Sessegnon, who squares it, and Son is like 5 yards out, and of course he's going to finish. You know, it would have been a miracle if Alisson got anywhere near it or it went wide or something. It would have been an awful miss. So he was always going to score in that position. I think, and then obviously we did well to equalise. I agree, though. I think we were lucky to get a point, especially at the end. What Højbjerg is doing with that header. I mean, I know what he's doing. He's trying to direct it across the face of goal because he can see Kane. But he should have gone for himself because he had that space. There was even a person behind him. So if Højbjerg misses it, the guy behind him could have cracked it in, or at least had a shot on target. So, and that was in the 93rd, 94th minute, and that would have won it. Any goal in injury time is like to win the game. So, yeah, they had the better chances. We weren't ourselves. I think even before Tottenham took the lead, because if you remember, I think Tottenham took the lead in the between 60 and 70 minutes. So for the first half, our passing game wasn't, the normal crisp passing game you'd expect to see from Liverpool. I would put it down to tiredness. I think it's been a mammoth season, and it's probably now catching up with us big time. I think we looked quite leggy. Quite a few players looked leggy. So I think it is playing a part. But yeah, I mean, I can't really complain, especially given the way Tottenham played. And I actually thought I didn't like. I love Jurgen Klopp, but for once I can't support him with what he said after the game. He's quite salty in his comments. But fair play to Klopp, because a few days later he said, "Yeah, in the heat of the moment, I said this, but." Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Along those lines, he said, because he was being questioned about what Pep said about how everyone wants Liverpool to win the league and how the media bias towards Liverpool as well, and things like that. So, like I said, I can't complain. Conte proved why he's one of the elite managers, not just in the league but in the world, and Tottenham are very lucky to have him as a manager as well. 1-1 draw. Thoughts after the game, I wasn't too disappointed. I was disappointed we didn't win the game, because every game, but the position we're in, every game is a must win to try and stop Man City winning this league title. But at the same time, I would say that it doesn't really change things, because even if Liverpool had won, if Liverpool had nicked a goal and won it 2-1, we still are reliant upon Man City dropping points or losing a game and drawing a game. And until they do that, they're still going to win the title. So, and look at tonight. Tonight was one of the games away to Wolves. On paper, we would thought maybe it's a tough game. But I think, I don't know what it is at the moment, but last I checked, they were 4-1 up, and KDP has scored all 4 goals, so got in my FPL team, so I'm happy with that, to be fair. But you look at it. City are just a machine. They're relentless. I think in the last 5 years, it's been proven that not many teams can stop them. Not many teams can keep up with them. Perhaps Liverpool are the best equipped for it, but even it's going to be City's title, it looks like. So sadly, it's not the up the quadruple chasing Reds now. I think it's more up the treble chasing Reds. So I'll downgrade it one, depending on how this weekend goes, of course. But yeah, fair play to Tottenham. And then we played obviously last night away to Villa, another tough game. Stevie G had the boys fired up, and you know what? Fair play to Stevie, because he was brave. He went with Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings up front. He had Coutinho as well, so he, to play 2 strikers. I know they were home and it was at Villa Park, but to play 2 strikers is brave. They get off to a fantastic start, scoring the 3rd minute. I've always believed. I've never believed it, and I kind of see why people do believe in the phrase that they scored too early, because it was a fine. It's never a great time to concede a goal, but if you're going to choose when to concede, you choose to concede it earlier in the game rather than later in the game. They scored in the 3rd minute. We equalised in the 6th minute, and then we were still shaky. So again, going back to the Tottenham game, it seemed again that there were a lot of players that were leggy. Fabinho, goes off with a hamstring injury. And he misplaced a lot of passes. A lot of Liverpool players misplaced passes that you wouldn't really see. And I think you wouldn't see it if it was like middle of the season, like a January, February time. But because now we're in May and we've played every game available to play, because we've made the final of each competition and we're still in the title race, is catching up with us, even with the squad we've got. The game only changed after the half-hour mark when Fabinho got we didn't get substitute. He got forced off because of injury. Henderson comes on and controls the game. Henderson rolls back the years. He really, we don't win Tuesday night against Villa if it's not for Henderson. He doesn't score, he doesn't assist, but his control and influence in the middle of the park won us that battle and basically regained the control for Liverpool. You started seeing, especially after halftime, Liverpool start to shift the gears and play more like the Liverpool we expect to see. And then Mane scores an absolute great goal. He did this. He scored a very similar goal against Villa at Villa Park. I think back in 2019. That was a crazy game as well. We won 3-2. I think we were 2-0 down, and we scored like 3 goals or 2 goals in the 87th and the 91st minute winner or something crazy like that. Absolutely madness. But Mane scores that one from a corner, literally a flick onto the far post, and then he scores another headed goal on Tuesday night. Very difficult to generate that kind of. It's a flick. He's using the pace of the cross, but to your neck muscles, it's not easy that technique is not easy at all. So the way he guides it and flicks it on, Martinez got no chance. But yeah, beautiful goal. Luis Diaz plays his part again with an assist this time. So, and then a few nervy moments afterwards, especially in the last 10 minutes. Danny Ings has a goal disallowed because of offside, correctly given. But we hold on for the win, and that's all we can expect. That's all we can hope for, is to keep on winning. But it's all kind of not wasted, but it's until City do the unexpected and draw or lose a game, City will win the title. Like I said, they're 4-1 up tonight at the moment. They've got West Ham away on Sunday, another tough game. But they just, I think going out of the Champions League has probably hurt Liverpool more than it's hurt City for the title race. Because going out of the Champions League was probably the worst thing that could have happened to Liverpool. City going out of Champions League, because their focus is now just on these remaining 3 games, and I think after this they've got 2 games left. So, and they were always going to just be like, right, 4 games, let's win them all, and they've got the players to do it. So, title was never in our hands. That's why I wasn't disappointed on Saturday night. If we were 1 point ahead, I would have been gutted, because I would have been like, we've just fucked up here, because if we're 1 point ahead and then City go and play and win, then we go back, and that's from a position of strength. We were never from a position of strength. What I think is remarkable is we've cut the gap from 14 points to now it's going to be 3 tonight, but it was 1, and we were level on points before City kicked the ball tonight. So that's been remarkable to actually create a title race, to make a bit of excitement for the league. But yeah, in terms of catching them, it was, like I said, it was never in our hands. So you can't really be too disappointed that it's not going to quite happen this year. But yeah, I mean, we've got two cup finals to look forward to. Hopefully we win them both, and then we can say it's been a fantastic season.
Okay, so you'd say the title race is nearly done. Hopefully the top 4 race is nearly done too, so we can seal it at Tottenham tomorrow. We didn't beat Tottenham, but they still dropped 2 points playing you guys, so that's helped us. And we took advantage of that on the weekend. We had to beat Leeds to create that 4-point gap to them, and we got the job done. We started really well, really good first half. Eddie Nketiah got 2 early goals. Then Leeds had a man sent off, like tonight as well. I don't know what's going on with them and these red cards, but I think they're fighting. I know they're fighting for relegation, but they're fighting a bit too roughly and getting players sent off. So that's not helping them. But yeah, so at that point, getting into half time, we're 2-0 up. They're down to 10 men. I think we took our foot off the gas, bit of complacency, also trying to save some energy for this game coming up against Tottenham. And we let them back into it. They got a goal. It was a bit edgy at a point then because it's only 2-1, even though we've only got 10 men. But we managed to see it through, got the 3 points. That's all that mattered. And now we go into this massive game tomorrow night. It's one of the biggest North London derbies ever. So much riding on it. We can seal the place in the Champions League at their stadium. What a feeling that would be. So hopefully we can get the job done. I'm going to ask you two guys now as neutrals what your opinion is on how the game's going to go. One of the things I wanted to ask you is that for us, a draw is a good result because we'll still be 4 points ahead of Tottenham with only 2 games to go. So as a manager, if you are Arteta, how would you want to approach this game? Would you be looking to maybe play a bit more defensively, not commit too many players forward, especially knowing that Tottenham are very good on the counter attack as they showed against Liverpool? Would you play a normal game, or would you go all out attack and say, you know, this is our chance to risk and reward that, you know, if we can win the game bare and better against Tottenham, that's Champions League sealed. And worst case, if we were to lose it, we're still 1 point ahead of them with 2 games to go. So it's still in our hands. So yeah,
Yes, it's going to be an exciting game tomorrow. I've always said that the North London derby is one of the best derbies to watch in the world, and I think it is probably the most intense derby in terms of the way the players react, the way the players play, the extra, the aggressiveness of the players, the atmosphere in each stadium. You can always feel it. And I'm watching it through the TV, so imagine being there is something completely different. But look, we talked about the game before you had before you guys got it postponed. We will go into that, but before you got the game postponed, we did talk about that game. And that game, I saw Spurs winning that game, and quite comfortably. Obviously, that's a long time ago. A lot of things have happened. The game now, both teams are motivated, very, very motivated for this game. What's the best thing for Arsenal? Is that you're away, because there's no expectation for you guys to go there and have to play attacking football, and because if you're at home, I think you guys have to attack and win. You can't sit back and win 1-0 or take a draw and be happy and say, well, we done our job anyway. So I think it's good you're away from home. I think Spurs are gonna. The atmosphere is gonna be rocking tomorrow. I'm not sure how they're gonna play because the problem with Spurs is that when they're against teams that they can sit back against, like City, like Liverpool, they're okay. They get their job done, or they get somewhat of the job done this season. But their problem is when a team sits back against them, then they fight. Then there's a lot of problems when the team frustrates them. So if I'm Arteta, I'm definitely playing defensive tomorrow. I'm frustrating Tottenham, and I'm trying to maybe nick an early goal and then just kill the game off and win 1-0. Even a draw is not too bad for you guys. Obviously, you want to win the game because it's a derby, but you can't be too emotional with these things. You're trying to get top 4. So for me, you guys, if I was Arteta, I'd play defensive tomorrow. I make sure we're solid. Make sure you're not giving away any stupid goals. And what you guys need to do then is you guys need to still be obviously potent in attack. You don't just want to, you don't want to be leaving Eddie Nketiah isolated up top on his own. It's going to be a really interesting game. I mean, anyone could win tomorrow, or it could be a boring 0-0. Who knows? But I just see a lot of sparks flying tomorrow. I see a lot of tough challenges. I see a lot of passion, which you always have in North London derby, but more now because of top four and obviously Spurs are probably still angry about the game getting postponed before. So a lot of things are riding on this game. Biggest thing is top four. I think it's gonna be a very good game. But like I said, if I'm Arteta, I play defensively, solid, and frustrate Tottenham. And if I'm Spurs, I press Arsenal high. I press Arsenal because Arsenal defense does make mistakes. Your defense is very, very can be shaky when when you're getting pressed high and atmosphere will be on top of you. So if I'm Spurs, I have to high press. If Akonte plays tomorrow, he always plays five at the back, which I do think he needs to learn to change sometimes, especially against smaller teams. I think Spurs have to go for the game tomorrow. Now, Spurs go for the game, that's when Arsenal could pick them off on the counter-attack. But then that's if you show the quality to pick them off and if you are defensively solid enough, which is we're going to have to wait and see until tomorrow to see what happens. But my prediction for the game, I think that's going to happen. I think Spurs are going to go out and I think Arsenal are going to sit back. And I do think you guys are going to stay defensively solid. And I think you're going to win the game 3-1 tomorrow.
Okay, that would be amazing. Avik, your thoughts?
I just wonder if we're going to see a change in tactics from Conte. And the reason why I say that is he won't set up the team the same way he did, going to Anfield. First of all, they're home. Secondly, it's a derby. And thirdly, they have to win. For them, for Tottenham, it's a must-win. For Arsenal, it's not a must-win. That kind of mentality shift, I think, may influence his tactics and his personnel and style of play overall. So I just wonder if Tottenham come out a bit more and have a bit more of a go. Their fans will demand as well. Their fans won't, stand for just sitting back and countering Arsenal. So I think both teams will go for it. If I'm Arteta, I would just play our normal game. I wouldn't try and be extra defensive or, don't do a pep and overthink it. You just play your normal game. I think the goals will come. I think both teams are going to score. Chances will be created and goals will be scored. It just depends on who, which defense can kind of hold their own more over the course of 90 minutes. I think it will be a draw. Actually, I don't. Tottenham are one of those strange teams. I've said that they are where they are, not because of how they've done against the big six. They've taken, look at what they've done. They've done double over City, and they've got 2 draws against Liverpool. That's amazing. Not many clubs in the Premier League can say they've done that. I don't think anyone can, to be fair.
Not lost one game.
Yeah, so they've done amazing against the bigger teams. It's the games against Brentford and Brighton and weird teams that they've dropped points or lost and done some strange things where they've just shot themselves in the foot. That's why they are where they are. I think it'll be a draw tomorrow. I think it's quite entertaining as well. I wouldn't surprise if it's a 2-2 or 3-3. Both teams are definitely going to score, I think. I think a draw obviously suits Arsenal. So I do think I can't see Tottenham getting 4th. So I think they'll finish up in the Europa spots. I think Chelsea will get 3rd, Arsenal will get 4th, and then Tottenham are 5th, right? So I think they'll stay 5th. I don't know where Man United are in terms of how many points they're behind Tottenham. But Man United have only got 1 game left, weirdly. They're the only team to play 37 games, but they've got 1 game left. So Tottenham have got 2 left. I think it'll be a draw, 2-2. But if I'm Arteta, don't just play your normal game. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, so now I was going to ask you guys, especially you, Amit, because, it's such a big game tomorrow. Doesn't it make sense to play a defensively solid style of play when they're going to attack and leave space in behind? Because there's no way they can defend. You keep it tight first 20 minutes, the fans will get onto them. They'll be like, hang on a second, we have to win today. So if in the first 20 you keep it slow, you keep in your shape, let them have the ball, pass it around, they'll get frustrated. They'll have to attack, and that's when you pounce on the counter attack. That's when you use, your players, on the wing. You use your team to counter attack. I think tomorrow Martinelli has to start if you're going to play counter-attacking football, to get in behind. Um, and what do you think of it? Because I think you guys, I understand what Abid's point is, because yeah, if you guys go too defensive and then concede an early goal, then it's like mentally it's difficult. Then it's like, well, okay, now we have to start playing football, or what's gonna, that's the problem sometimes when you concede early or a deflection goes in or something, then it can be a bit tricky. But I understand what Abid means in terms of playing the same style of play because it's working right now. You've won four on the, is that four on the bounce you've won now?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you want four on the bounce. So I understand that as well. But I also think that you have to be smart about it and think, you know what, they have to attack. And even if they don't attack the first 20, they can see that Arsenal are just sitting back and holding the game, the fans will get frustrated, the atmosphere will be a little bit toxic, and they're going to have to attack and they're going to have to take chances. And that's when you pounce after 25, 30 minutes. So what do you think? What tactics would you use for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, I think you've got to be tactically wise on these things. As you said, Tottenham have to attack us, and they've got no choice but to go for it. It's not a situation where a draw in any way is good for them. So they will go all out and attack us. I mean, if we try and match them for that and leave space in behind, we're playing into their hands. So I've had this debate with you before. I talk about Chelsea being boring sometimes, with your style of play before, the likes of Mourinho. And I don't like that type of football. But if you got players like Man City have got, I would play my natural game and say, you know what, whatever you guys can do, we can match it. I back us to outscore you. The same with like Liverpool, they can play that kind of style where they can say, you know what, we're just going to concentrate on our game. We're good enough to beat you. If you want to attack us, it's all out attack. We haven't got that situation. So as far as Arteta, definitely, I'll be saying to the team, keep it tight, especially that first half an hour. Let's frustrate them. I'd actually go 5 at the back. So Ben White is due to be back from injury. Rob Holding's come in and done really well. And whenever we played with them 3 together as 3 centre-backs, they've done really well. So I'd go 5 at back, 3 centre-backs, and then Tomiyasu on the right, because Son's their biggest danger, as we know.
Yeah.
So having Tomiyasu on him, and the left wing back, I'd probably go with Saka. And then that way, we're going to be really solid having the back 5 in front of them, El Neni and Xhaka, keep that midfield solid. And then up front, the pace of Eddie Nketiah and Martinelli, as you're saying, to try and hit him on the break. So I wouldn't call it defensive football. I just call
it.
And
then what? Right wing Odegaard, because you have Odegaard. It would be Odegaard.
Odegaard behind the 2 strikers. So the 3 in front of Xhaka and I forgot to mention Odegaard. So in front of Xhaka and El Neni, Odegaard, and then the 2 strikers would be Nketiah and Martinelli. So 5-3-2. That's for me would be the way to go. I don't know if Arteta will do that. He might say, you know what, we've been playing well with 4-3-3. The last 4 games we won them all. 3 of them were difficult as well. Chelsea away, Man United at home, West Ham away. So we're in good form. I mean, there's an argument, don't change something that's working. But I think in these situations, if we ever play as Man City or Liverpool had, I'd say, yeah, just focus on ourselves. But in this situation, we haven't got them sort of players. We need to be aware of what Tottenham's strengths are. And it's definitely hitting teams on a counter-attack. And as you said, it's proven with the results they've had against some of the smaller teams who come and sit back. They struggle with that, breaking teams down. So we don't want to play into their hands. It's going to be interesting to see how Arteta goes for it. I'm hopeful that he's going to, from what I've seen of Arteta so far, he is a manager that tries to adapt, and he does look at the other team, what their strengths are, and looks to make our game plan around that, not just purely focusing on how we're going to play. He looks to adapt to the team. And one thing he's done this season has made us defensively sound. I know you're saying our defense can be a bit shaky. We've seen that away at Liverpool, seen that away at Man City. We saw that recently as well against Crystal Palace. Our defense
and Man United. Man United, you guys were very shaky, I think, in defense sometimes.
Yeah, so it is still not as solid as it should be, but compared to previous years, it's getting a lot better. The goal we conceded against Leeds on Sunday, that's the first goal we conceded from a corner all season. So that's one hell of a stat, because we were a team that used to regularly concede from corners and set pieces in general, but he's really improved that. He's improved the defence in general. Gabriel, Ben White, solid centre-back pairing have been most of the season. Ramsdale's been great in goal as well. As I say, Tomiyasu, back from injury now as well. He's been a solid right back. Left back, we're missing Tini, unfortunately. That's another reason. With Partey and Tini out, I just feel a bit more comfortable with having a back five. And just going in there, being a bit more solid, frustrate them, look to hit them on the break. I think, so I heard your two predictions there. My prediction, I think, is that Tottenham have got no choice but to come all out at us. So they're going to come all out and they're going to leave space for us. I see us taking advantage of that. I see us scoring 3 goals, but I see them scoring a couple of goals as well. So I'm going for 3-2 to us. And I hope we will concede in our Champions League place at their stadium. We won the league before at their stadium. We're not competing for the leagues at the moment, unfortunately. Hopefully we get to that level soon. And the best next thing we can do now is to seal the top 4 place at their ground. What a feeling that would be. So come on, boys. We got this. Got to do it tomorrow. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about before we get into the FA Cup final is that Arteta signed a contract extension last week. For us, I'd say most of our fans are happy with him. There's been times this season where, being a bit skeptical after finishing 8th in the last 2 seasons as well. The start we had to the season, losing the first 3 games, getting embarrassed 5-0 against Man City. But he's come back, done really well. We're there now, very close to qualifying for the Champions League. So he signed the contract extension. As neutrals, just wanted to ask you what you guys' opinion is of him, on the job he's doing. Do you think he's a manager that can take us to competing with the likes of Man City and Liverpool?
So obviously it's a tricky question. And I think, this season no one had Arsenal finish top 4. No one had Arsenal finish top 4 this season. We all thought it would be definitely United, or if you're not United, Spurs would be in top 4. Well, they had Nuno coming in, but no one expected Arsenal to finish top 4. So for him to potentially tomorrow win and finish top 4 and be guaranteed Champions League football is a massive achievement. I think he's done a good job this season. I mean, look, the 2 8th place finishes are really poor. I think there was a time where, a part of the season where you guys kept losing and losing and losing. I think it was at home or something. I think it was last season. But he's pulled it around, and he's done an amazing job. One thing Arsenal struggled with, for the past many years is going to big away games and winning or getting results. And you're managing to do that recently. You beat Man United a few seasons ago away from home, which was a break. You wouldn't win Old Trafford for a long since 2006. It was, I think it was when Fabregas, or I think Adebayor scored or someone. You beat us for the first time last year with a Emile Smith-Rowe's goal since 2012. Funny that both times you've beaten us at our ground, we won Champions League. Just unfortunate this season, hey. But you guys, this is very important. This is mentally very, very important. You have to win big games, and you have to turn up in big games. And you guys have done that. Okay, not against the top 2. The top 2, yeah. I think Man City at home deserve to beat them. You're unlucky. Both Liverpool games, I think Liverpool outclassed you in both games. But you guys are showing that, you're showing a lot more tactical now. So Arteta's good at this. This is where Arteta, I respect him a lot. Tactically, especially against the big teams, you really make sure his team is set up well, and he takes advantage of the other team's weaknesses. So overall, yeah, done really well. You need to back him now. You need to go into summer, and you need to back him. You need to give him the players he wants. And the only criticism he does get, which is actually criticism Pep actually gets, but we won't go into that, is how many characters do you have at Arsenal in terms of real characters that will rough up a changing room? And the same is at Man City. There's not many big personalities there. I feel like Arteta doesn't want someone that's going to talk back to him. I think he likes youngsters and he likes players that just can listen and play to his style of play. Now that works. That is working now because UI is most likely going to finish top 4. But when you get to another level of high quality players, then it's about coaching players that might have a bigger personality, or players that have a bit of an ego and a bit of have that kind of ego about them because they're so good or because of their popularity or something. So that's the only difficult part Arteta's going to have in terms of bringing Arsenal to titles and to being right at the top of the table, is bringing in players that might rough up a changing room, might be a little bit toxic sometimes, but they're so good, you accept that, and you just, like Klopp and Guardiola do so well, you demand and get respect of the all these players with big egos, let's just say, or big personalities. So, but Klopp more than Guardiola, because if you look at Guardiola's team, how many leaders do Man City have right now? How many true leaders do they have? Not many, because I don't think Guardiola, like Arteta, doesn't like these big personalities that will, rough up a changing room and potentially make it toxic. So yeah, it's a conversation to have another day. But that's the only difficult part I think he's going to have maybe in the future. But you guys just have to back him now. Back him in the summer. Get him the players he wants. Um, and you guys should kick on. Because apart from, honestly, so I think obviously we're above you guys in terms of squad, in terms of challenging soon. After us, you guys are, the team after us that should be challenging in the next few seasons. Get 2, 3, 4 new world class signings in. Back Arteta, you go for the title. It won't be easy. Probably need Guardiola and Pep to, go to other leagues, make everyone's life easier. But I don't see it. If the owners just really think about this and understand the situation, if they care enough to, then they understand that you're not too far away from challenging. You just need to back Arteta. He's brought the harmony to the squad, so let's see what you guys can do next season.
Yeah, it's always good to have a bit of stability at a club, and a contract extension of a manager brings that. So Arteta's signed an extension, which means that any players that he was talking, or Arsenal were talking to potentially to bring in the summer, now know that who their manager is going to be for the next few years. There's no uncertainty, so it's good from that perspective. He does deserve it as well. I know you referenced the two 8th place finishes in the last couple of seasons, but you've made a huge step, upwards since the last 2 years. And I agree with him. I don't think anyone had Arsenal down as the team to finish 4th place. I think a lot of people had probably the 2 Manchester clubs. So Man United, Man City, Chelsea, and us. And I think a lot of people had Man United as title challengers. So they would, if they're title challengers, they would definitely have been in the top 4. So I think you've exceeded expectations as well. It all goes down to recruitment. If you get your recruitment right, why can't you be, say you finish 4th this year, again finish 4th or 3rd next year, and then the year after that you maybe put in a challenge or half a challenge, and the year after that you put in a full, up until April, May time title challenge. That's what you got to build towards. The end game is basically trying to challenge for the Premier League. It's not trying to. It is about trying to win the Premier League, but there's no guarantees in football, and you can be as good as Liverpool and still not win the Premier League. So this is what I mean. Like, I think you're in the right direction under the right guy, but it's all about recruitment. One player I would say you guys really need to go and test the waters with is someone like Gabriel Jesus, who, I think we'll talk about Haaland maybe in a moment, but someone like Gabriel Jesus would absolutely kill it for Arsenal because he'd be main man, and someone like that would get you 20, 25 league goals alone if he had the chances. He just isn't the main man at City, and he doesn't always start, hence why he probably isn't as not well known, but appreciated enough as a footballer, because he can be if he gets regular game time at a club like Arsenal, where he definitely would walk in and definitely be main man. He starts ahead of Nketiah. Lacazette's leaving in the summer, and Aubameyang's already gone in January. So who else does that leave? So that's an example of someone who you should be looking to sign in the summer.
Yeah, hopefully the board will back Arteta now. They've backed him, the owners and the board have backed him with his contract. So now they've got to back him in the transfer window. And as you're saying, well, I'm always saying about him with his management skills, that he does need work on. We've seen situations with Guendouzi, Aubameyang as well. So hopefully, as a young manager, he'll get better on that, because it is his first job. It's hard as a new manager. All right, he worked with Guardiola at City, but that's as a number 2. It's completely different. When you're the main man and you're one that's got to make all the decisions, it's completely different and a lot of pressure, and he needs some time. So he's been given these 3 seasons. First couple of seasons, all right, first season got the FA Cup, but we finished 8th. Second season, finished 8th. Didn't win nothing, didn't even qualify for Europe that season. So that was really bad. But this season, he's come back strong, you know, and what I like as well is that he's focused on young team. So there's a lot of potential in us to get better. These players playing together, we've got some superstar young players, you know, the likes of Martelli and Saka. If we can add in that world-class players, but not just world-class players, but experienced players to the team, I'm hoping within the next 2-3 seasons we can start challenging the likes of Liverpool and Man City to win the Premier League and be challenged to win the Champions League as well. So, yeah, the future's looking bright for us. But first things first, we've got to beat Tottenham tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm nervous. It feels like a bit of a cup final, you know, because there's so much on the line.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. So talking of cup finals, let's get into your guys' cup finals. So second one of the season. The last one, what a game it was. One of the best 0-0s I've ever seen. We hear this expression a lot used, that some 0-0s are amazing and that people say best 0-0 you could wish to see. And this was really another one of them. It was just such a what end-to-end game, so many chances. Not one of them boring defensive games where it ends up 0-0 and you can see it being 0-0 from halftime. This game, we just, at any point, any of the teams could have scored. There was fine margins that stopped either team from scoring. And I hope for another game like that, watching it as a neutral. Well, I want Liverpool to win, though, because, you know, we don't like Chelsea. So we don't like Liverpool either, but we don't like Chelsea more than Liverpool. So
Don't like the champions of the world.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Liverpool. I'm confident Liverpool will win. But saying that, you've been in all the competitions. You played every game possible this season that you could have played. So fatigue could be coming into it now. Some tiredness. Did either of you rest players in your midweek games?
So today we rested. Yeah, today we rested Thiago Silva. But apart from that, you know, maybe Aspie got rested for the final, but I wouldn't start Aspie in the final. I would start Trevor Chalobah for the speed. I think Aspie's lost his edge a little bit with age. Overall, I think we've started up. I think today we started our strongest team apart from Thiago Silva. Who obviously, I mean, 36, 37, you need to give him a little bit of rest for the final. He'll definitely come into the final. But apart from that, no, we just had to get this game done.
I think Havertz,
we have to win
as well.
Havertz was rested, but I don't know if Havertz is even going to start the game on Saturday. Yeah, because thing about it is, we want to start. So, for example, the front three would be Lukaku has to start for me. I would do Mount, Havertz, Lukaku, but because of your high line, Havertz and Mount are not fast enough, and Mount has to start. So now Mount and Lukaku for me are starters. So that means Havertz makes way, and that means either Werner or Pulisic comes in, and I would start Werner because he's more of a direct runner. He will get in behind again and again and again. So, so for me, Werner starts that final. He just brings that work rate, that work ethic. Maybe not the finishing product, but that work ethic will bring. But yeah, we rested, one player, Thiago Silva, maybe Havertz, maybe he might start over Lukaku or someone. But I'm not too sure what Tuchel goes with. Maybe even Aspie, like I said, maybe. But overall, that's it. It wasn't too much of a change. But I'm glad we had to win today. I didn't want to, rest loads of players and lose today. And then we're hoping for you guys to win tomorrow. And you don't want to be relying on teams to do you favors and stuff, So glad that we got the job done today.
Okay. Yeah, we rested quite a few players. So Robertson didn't play at all. Kostas Tsimikas played on Tuesday night. He had Matip and Verge. Now, this is the interesting thing. Does he bring in Konate for Saturday? Which means Matip goes out because Verge will start. No doubt about that, unless he gets injured between now and Saturday. So is it Konate or Matip? I think it could be Konate. The reason why I say that is because Konate's actually played in most of the big games as well. He played in the semi-final against City, and he's played in pretty much all the Champions League, the big Champions League games, and knockout stages and semi-finals and whatnot. So yeah, I think it could be Konate who comes in. Although Matip had a really good game in the League Cup final against Chelsea, so that could alter Klopp's thing. It's a good headache to have for him. Trent will definitely play. He played on Tuesday night. Middle of the park, yeah, he rested Henderson and Thiago. Both of them were on the bench. He played Fabinho. Now, Fabinho would have definitely started on Saturday, but I think he's out. I think he's actually in a race against time to be fit for the Champions League final end of the month, which arguably is the bigger final. So, yeah, I think because he is injured, it will be, you will expect to see Henderson back in. He'll start. Henderson will play the number 6 role that Fabinho plays, and Thiago will start. And I think it'll be Naby Keita, who's the other midfielder, because it won't be Curtis Jones. The Ox I've not seen for a long time. I don't know if he's not made any match day squads. He for the life of me, he has to be up in the summer, because I don't know why he's not been included. Even on the bench, I've not seen him. So I don't know what's happened to him. He's not injured either. So something's happened, or his future no longer is at Liverpool. And then that only leaves James Milner, and James Milner would only play if there were injuries, or he comes off the bench if we're maybe winning 2-1 and we need to see it out, kind of thing. That's the type of player James Milner is, and he's very good at it as well. So, and then the other one was Salah. So Salah has, he scored like 2 goals in his last 13 games. He's not been at it at all since AFCON. I think AFCON, Sadio Mane killed Mo Salah, I think, to be honest. I feel sorry for Salah because he killed him twice as well. He won AFCON against him, and then he knocked him out of the World Cup qualifiers, so he didn't qualify for the World Cup. So Salah's been a bit indifferent. He's still top scorer in the league. He still has made major contributions like assists and been heavily involved in our attacking play. So I wouldn't say he's been completely off the boil, but he's not scoring goals, which is what we associate Mo Salah to do. So what a time he will start on Saturday, absolutely no doubt about that. And what a time to score if he does. So Salah will come in. I expect Mane to start. And I reckon there's going to be a bit of surprise. I think it will actually be Bobby Firmino who probably starts on Saturday. It wouldn't surprise me if it is. Purely because he hasn't played. He's come back from injury. He didn't play on Tuesday night. And I'm just wondering if Klopp is thinking, as good as Luis Diaz has been, could Luis Diaz be even better coming off the bench in that cup final, maybe against tired legs, after 70, 80 minutes, depending on what the score is, to change the game. And I've referenced this before. Klopp has got his substitutions spot on in terms of the strength and depth we've now got. The options on the bench can change a game. He's done it already in the last few months, and he could do it again on Saturday. So I think it would actually be a front three of Mane on the left, Firmino in the middle, playing like deeper, and Salah on the right. And by Firmino playing deeper, he brings both wingers, Mane and Salah, into play more. It's the OG front three, basically, the traditional front three. So I reckon we'll see that on Saturday. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But he's definitely rested a few players with an eye for Saturday.
Okay, so that makes me even more confident that you guys are going to win, man. Your fatigue might be getting to you a little bit. We saw against Villarreal, you started that game really bad. You did come back, but then against Tottenham again, you looked a bit tired. And against Villa, you went a goal down early, but you came back again. So you're getting the job done most of the time. And I think you're the team to beat at the moment. Even though City are doing so well in the Premier League, just the way you guys are playing, the season you're having in all fronts, in the Champions League final, you're a very confident team right now. And I see you having a little bit too much for Chelsea. I've got to give it to Chelsea, though. They do really turn up for finals. As Amma said, Tuchel knows how to set up his team, and they always will give you a hard game. It's not going to be an easy game, but I think he's going to edge this one. I'm going for 2-1. So how do you two see the game going, and what's your correct score predictions?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Before the Carabao Cup final, I did say penalties, and I said we'd win on penalties. We lost on penalties, but I said 1-1, I think I did. But then I said, I knew the game would go to penalties. I knew it'd be both teams cancelling each other out and going to penalties. I don't think penalties this game. I think that if we can get an early goal this game, I think we're that's what we really need to get an early goal. Well, not super early, but we get the first goal in this game. I think we can show the know-how to get this game done. Um, it's a very tricky game. It's tricky. Look, Wembley, the atmosphere, the occasion. Um, it's very difficult. And you know we've after losing the Carabao, and again, the Carabao Cup final, we deserved to win that game, in my opinion. We had big chances and we bottled them. So, you know, players that didn't turn up in that final, didn't finish properly, well, I hope they understand that this game they have to turn up. Um, and it's going to be a very good game. It's going to be a very, very good game. Um, you know, I don't mind how we play. I just want to make sure that we stay solid, make sure we keep it competitive, which I think we do. Because I don't think you guys, if you could correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen Chelsea get dominated in a final or Chelsea get battered in a final. It doesn't happen. We always give it our everything, and it goes down to the line. Maybe we win, maybe we lose. But I think this game is going to be a close game, but I think we're going to win the game 1-0. Actually, no, I think we're going to win the game 2-1 in extra time. I think the full time the 30 90 minutes is going to be very, very close. Then we'll score. Maybe Liverpool get an equaliser or other way around, and then I think we just nick it in extra time. We win the game 2-1. I'd say probably that's my heart saying 2-1. I'd probably say my head's probably saying 3-1 Liverpool win. Uh, um, yeah, in full time. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a really good game. For me, I just want to see our players give everything. I want to see Tuchel tactically set up, which he will do, set up as well as we possibly can. I want to see our players give everything. And I want to see no one shying away from the game. You know, you just the type of games you prove what you have. Don't shy away. Don't shy away from the ball. Give it everything. You know, win the second balls. And I hope I'm excited for the game. Obviously nervous as well, but we need to get revenge for the Carabao Cup final. So yeah, I'm gonna go over 2-1.
Okay, Abby.
It's gonna be a tough game. I think Chelsea proved it a few months ago in the League Cup final, but it's really weird because going into that League Cup final, I had a lot of like dread and anxiety and fear about facing Chelsea. I don't have those same feelings going into this FA Cup final, and I think a lot of it's down to what has happened at Chelsea and the results we've seen from Chelsea. Like, you know, the recent one, obviously, I know they won tonight, but the recent one being a 2-2 draw at home to Wolves. Chelsea are one of those sides where Amma just said, if we go one up, I hope we can see it out. I don't think Chelsea can see it out. That's the thing. I don't think Chelsea are that side anymore, or certainly not proved in the last few games where they go 1-0 up and then they see it out and they win. They win 1-0. I think Chelsea are one of those sides maybe do go 1-0 up, but then Liverpool come back kind of thing. That's why I don't have those fears. I don't think Chelsea will go at us. They could do. They could surprise us, but I don't think they'll go at us. I think they'll be more try and be more defensively solid and soak up the pressure and try and hit some the counter. It's up to us how we cope with it. If they do what Tottenham did, they've got every chance of winning the cup final because we didn't have an answer for Tottenham. But hopefully we have an answer on Saturday. But I don't have the same fears as the League Cup final. I think I hope it doesn't go to penalties. I don't want to. That was a tough night to get through, and I hated it. I hated it even more because not only did it go to penalties, but everyone scored. Literally everyone scored. So it was, I don't want to go to penalties. I don't even want it to go to extra time. I hope it can be settled in normal time. If you ask me for a prediction, I've got to back my boys, I guess. I think it'll be close, but hopefully 2-1 to Liverpool. And we go from there. Like I said, I think we have shown signs of legginess in the first 30 minutes against Villa and on the weekend against Tottenham. But I think the mindset's completely different for a cup final as well. It's a one-off. It's at Wembley. It's not at anyone's ground. It's a neutral location. You got that natural buzz. And I also don't think you can really look at form and count on form going into a cup final because it is a one-off. So you know, Chelsea, they have been the best of form, but I don't expect that to hinder what Chelsea team we see on Saturday. The same way Liverpool have been in great form. Okay, they drew against Tottenham, but outside of that game, you know, we haven't lost a game. We lost a Champions League game, a dead rubber against Inter Milan, and before that, we lost against Leicester back in December. So we haven't lost in the league since December, and we've only drawn since then. We've drawn against Chelsea 2-2 and City 2-2, and Tottenham now 1-1. So we've won every game outside of those three. So yeah, we couldn't be going into it in better form. But like I said, I don't think form plays a part. I just think whoever Klopp selects, whoever Tuchel selects, whoever gets his tactics spot on, wins the game. I just hope that it's a really exciting game. I hope it's not ruined by a bad decision, refereeing decision. I hope no one goes off injured. You don't want to see injured players and bad referees. You just want to see a clean game where, winner takes all. Two heavyweights going for a title the way it should be.
Yeah, it's going to be an intense game. Finals always are. And I'm just looking at the season between you two teams is 3 matches, 3 draws. Yeah, so that's like if you count the extra time as well, that's 300 minutes of football, and there's been nothing to separate you. So yeah, going to be another close game. And like you say, that penalty shootout, that's one of the craziest penalty shootouts I've seen. Like everyone just kept scoring. And yeah, for me, like I said, I don't really care who wins that much. I'd rather Liverpool win it. But I just want to see a good game, and look forward to watching that tomorrow. I look forward to seeing my boys beating Tottenham and qualifying for the Champions League and joining your 2 teams in the Champions League next season. So yeah, that's all from us. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. One of you is going to be happy. One of you is going to be sad. We'll find out which one it is.
Yeah, thank you once again. Yeah, excited for the final and excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a big game.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and up the treble chasing Reds.
That's all from us. Thanks everyone for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share.